to train for 5 different sports, right? There's always 5 categories in tournaments, so we need to train for all of them. So we do single sword because it's the basis for fighting, but we also need to work on our combinations. So we all do that kind of together, right? So there's less drills for this. Fortunately, it's a little bit easier. And we're going to do less rounds too because it's real hot and real gross out. So here's what we're going to do. So how do you block strike with full combination? Well, we tried to figure it out. These are the drills that I invented was doing this with full combination. I was never taught to do them with a second piece of equipment. It was always like, the theory was always, okay, you learn to fight single sword, and then the second piece of equipment, you're just adding something, so you should just be able to figure it out. Well, the problem with that is, I don't want to just figure it out, I want to train my ass off. You know, I want to do the most work that I can. So I was like, well, how do you block strike with this? And we tried to just block strike with the second piece of equipment, and it didn't work because it was too simple, and no one ever got hit. But, so, you know how there was 3 branches block strike for single sword, right? Well, we don't do that with full combination. We do all quadrants, right? All quadrants are available to you while you're doing a grind drill. So basically, you picture all 3 top quadrants, chest on hip, arm on hip. They all combine when you do a second piece of equipment. And every quadrant is open to you. There are no quadrant restrictions. So Homer is going to show you what a grind drill looks like with me real quick, right? So we square up. It's the same setup as block strike. We need to be able to reach each other's low quadrants. And then he throws and I block, and I throw and he blocks. Faster. That makes sense? Yep. So it's just block strike, but it's easier. Now how do I do this? I don't care. You will figure it out. You will naturally, once you get hit less, you will start blocking. And you need to like investigate individual movements. Like for example, will you come over here? So like while I was doing this, one of the things that I learned is if I throw a low quadrant shot, right, my arm is open. And it's really hard to recover to block this side, right? Have you guys ever heard of, you block your sword side with your sword, and your shield side with your shield? Have you ever heard that? When your sword is busy, like you can't adhere to that rule and not get hit, right? So like if I'm throwing up top, I'll tuck back and block with my sword when he throws back. If I'm down low, I better cover it with the shield because this is not going to come back in time. And you think about it and I'm like, well, wait a minute. If I throw low, what am I in a good position for? And you can start thinking about it and chaining your shots together into different patterns. Like that's what the grind drill is for. You're investigating what happens after I throw. What's open after I block here? If I throw back, will he throw back to a position that's predictable? Like if I throw over to the side like this, he might throw over to my arm like that, and then I can throw over top. And that's an example of a pattern, right? I just controlled where he threw back at me because I knew what was open when I threw it. Does that make sense? You just follow the logical chain of cause and effect, and you produce the results you want based on what you throw. It's like sweet voodoo mind control, right? But for now, just do it. Look at it. This is a sandbox for you guys to play with to get really good at combination drills. And with Florentine, it's a little bit harder. Sword. Anybody? Yeah, that's good. With Florentine, the biggest tip that I can give you is you get hit a lot. Because with board, I have a lot of defensive leeway to cover myself if I'm open. With Florentine, if you are not in exactly the right position, you just got whacked. Like, that's how it's going to happen. But the main thing that I can tell you with Florentine grind drills, it really helps to press your swords together like this. It gives you some coverage up in this top quadrant. Do you see how I'm covering 3 quadrants right now? I'm covering this quadrant, this quadrant, and by pressing these together momentarily, I can give myself one stable shot. Like if he throw up in the corner where they cross, it won't last for 2 hits, you know what I mean? But it will last for 1, or at least probably invalidate the next shot if you catch 99% of it, right? So when you throw, you can snap into this position, and you have to think about it, well, I'm open over here now, so maybe if I throw back like this, I might have to shift that way and throw like that. So the main tip that I can give you, if you are doing Florentine grind drills, your hands need to be out here, right? And crossing can help cover another quadrant. And also you are perfectly allowed to, let me think of it good, if I throw his hip like this, and I have my guard up here, he might cross that way, right? That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. And I'm like, well, I want to throw back at that. You don't want to go like that and tie your swords up. When I do that, I might want to bring this sword up to cover and throw it like that. So you need to think about how your hands kind of flow. That's like driving a big ass truck. You know? 18 fucking wheeler. You know what I mean? It's a little strange, but it really helps. I really recommend board until you guys get used to the pacing of this stuff. But if you only have Florentine or you love Florentine, it does work. It's just much harder. Okay? Alright. We're going to take this second interval because it's so fucking hot. We're going to take it down to 5 rounds. Okay? We are going to do ABA, grind, BAB, grind, CNC, done. But first we're going to walk through those with the other instructor. So I don't remember who I got this from. To get with an instructor, they're going to walk you through grind drills. And we'll talk about ABA, BAB, and CNC real quick. Get with the instructor and go through grind.
Killing me, dude.
Okay, ABA, I'm going to show this to you with Hobie. It's exactly the same thing, but now you have a second piece of equipment, so we're just going to gloss over it. For ABA, I lunge in and throw. He lunges in. Exactly the same as ABA before, but you have a second piece of equipment to create more coverage for yourself. Okay, any questions on how that's done? Okay, get with an instructor, do just a little bit of ABA, like do maybe 5 good lunges per person. Fade back in. Thrash and I are going to show you BAB. Same thing, same setup, same basic concept. You do it with combinations.
Listen up.
Thrash walks in. Then I walk. Makes sense? Real simple. Same thing. Find an instructor, do a couple of them. Bring it back in. One more. One more.
Battery's running out. Battery.
The other guy.
CNC.
The other guy.
Cedric is going to help me show you CNC. Remember, I throw twice when I am lunging. He's standing, he throws immediately, and then blocks. Alright? And I know that this was a little gross the first time we did it. You'll get it. It's still a little bit gross for me, but it really does help. I will tell you right now, it's a lot easier since I have a shield to help me control that first counter. So like for example, if he throws kind of a shallow cross to this hand over here, a really great counter for this is to go like this. To put my shield up and kind of just throw over it. I'm totally taking control. Or if he throws his shoulder up over here, if I shrug my shoulder up and chop into his arm, that's a really good example of a counter. Doing that with just one sword or with Florentine, it's pretty difficult. Doing it with the shield, real fucking easy, right? So let me show you that. I'm going to lunge first. Good. It's okay. Lunge. See that? Very simple. Go catch like 3 with an instructor, and then we're going to catch a drink, and then we're going to do one more 15-minute round, and then you guys are interval athlete freaks.